Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one, I wanted to try something a little different. So I'm playing a Skaven, and I'm against the vampire counts. And usually with Skaven, I go with like a massive army, right? But I was thinking against vampire counts, I kind of need more elite stuff, because you don't want the fear and terror just making all you guys run away before they do anything. So I want a very high and tight elite army here, which is something I thought I'd never say for Skaven. But here you can see I have 2 storm vermin with swords and shields in the front line. I have a couple of halberds in the back, and here I actually have Plague Monk Censer Bearers. So Plague Monk Censer Bearers are a weird unit, because 99% of the time you bring them, they just get shot to pieces, hit with a wind blast, whatever. They die in seconds, 1 cavalry charge wipes out half the unit, they just suck. I hate them. I think they're awful. But I hate them in all the other matchups. In this one, it's actually a little bit different. They have no armor, so they can still get bogged down and will actually take significant damage from utter crap, right? Zombies and all sorts. But they got a load of armor piercing, they hit very hard, they got some great debuffs, they got magic damage, which is good against ethereal units. They've got a lot of utility here, and they're not going to get picked off by anything. They could get bogged down by a lot of cheap stuff and will suffer a lot of attrition due to their low armor, but they're not just going to die, which is, you know, interesting. They're going to get some damage in. So I thought I'd give them a go. And I actually played some games recently with Fake Ninja Hunt. And he brought some, and they did great in a matchup that they shouldn't have done. I was Wood Elves, he was Skaven, and it was hilarious. They actually performed really well, because they just came in right at the end, and by then all my archers were busy. And because of a hill, I couldn't shoot at them even if I wanted to. So they actually ended up performing great. So if they're in combat, they can do great. So I wanted to test that. I know, I've been talking about Censer Bearers for hours. Anyway, I also have 2 Warlock Engineers and Skrulk. So the Warlock Engineers, they're literally just there for the, well, Howling Warp Gale I have on both of them. Why did I bring on both of them? Okay, I meant to bring on one of them. Whoopsie. My bad. Anyway, yeah, so Howling Warp Gale, which I don't end up using at all. But I brought them for the armor, mostly, that Warpstone armor. So they got the Mortis Engine effects, because I've got quite a robust line, you know, with the Storm Vermin here. So I thought, yeah, I'll whittle away at things' health just by attrition, you know, from that sort of Mortis Engine effect. That's right, we can play that too. So also some Clan Rats with spears. And then they're a bit cheap. I had to bolster this front line somehow. I don't have a lot of units here. Also, I do have some Rat Ogres for a bit of mass to, you know, just pen things in for a bit. And also, I have Poison Wind Globadiers as my sort of anti-large solution. Also, though, anti-large, Liber Bubonicus tends to do the job there too. For the most part, yeah, most of their large things are single model targets. Except cavalry, of course. But, yeah, things like Vargolfs and stuff like that. It's all single models. Or Lords. Yeah, Lords. Hit them with Liber Bubonicus all the time, for days. It works great. So my opponent, he has gone super wide here, which is very cool. So he's got a couple of White Kings, which I think is interesting as a goon squad. They're anti-infantry on horses, so they can be very good at gooning things like my Warlock Engineers or Skrulk. So very cool to have these guys. I would have actually brought them with, what's it called, Scabscrath, because generally you're going to be fighting a lot of unarmored stuff. Would have been great for dealing with the Censer Bearers, a Scabscrath. It's, you know, that breath attack. So that's actually very handy. So I like the White Kings here. Cool pick. Also, he's got a ton of Black Knights. He's got some Dire Pack as well. The Dire Pack, they're anti-large. Great for dealing with Rat Ogres, surprisingly. Because, yeah, they don't need the armor piercing against Rat Ogres. Rat Ogres only 30 armor. So I like that as a pick. He also has a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Very, very good Lord. And anti-infantry. So again, super useful in this matchup. And obviously a huge host of spells, which are really handy. In the front line, he has a ton of Crypt Ghouls, which are pretty great against Skaven for the most part. Not great against armoured targets, though. They'll be great against things like the Clan Rats, and they will actually get some great damage into the Censer Bearers, but not great if they're charging into the Storm Vermin. They will struggle with their lack of armour piercing there. And he also has the Konigstein Stalkers, a load of zombies, and Crypt Ghouls dotted around. In the back, more Black Knights. Over here, more Black Knights. He has a lot of Black Knights. So, speeding things up. So, I'm gonna hang out on this hill for a bit. Yep. But, seeing these guys go super wide, I do actually decide to move in. If I can just hit this stuff nice and early, I can get through all this fodder, you know, before he really gets into position with a lot of his stuff. You know, his cav is way, way out on the sides. Too far away. He doesn't need to be that far away. That's one thing that you really need to be aware of, I think. You want to be as close as you can that is still safe. Don't go super, super wide, you know. I don't have Warp Lightning Cannons, there's no reason to run away that much. And even then, you can still afford to come closer, because the Warp Lightning Cannons are going to hit you from pretty much any range, so you may as well get involved, you know. There's no skirmishers or anything, and if there were skirmishers in range over here, you can just charge them. So anyway, Over here you can see Plague Monk Sensor Bearers are in this fight, as are my Rat Ogres. They all ran in here, but things are looking a bit dire for the Clan Rats. It's not looking great, and here the White Kings are putting in some great work. Yeah, my Warlock Engineer is getting bullied quite heavily. So over here, Skrulk ended up on his own. This happens every time when I give people an order to attack. Skrulk always finds the one little route through an army. It's very annoying. But Blood Dragon Lord taken a huge amount of damage already from the Lebu Bonicus. So here I'm going to start trying to summon some Plague Monks. Plague Monks are anti-infantry, going to be great against the bulk of this army. Over here he is trying to get into my Poison Wing Globadiers, but I've got a load of halberds thrown around here. A load of halberds, and yeah, he's got Feasts in the Dusk, which aren't cavalry, so the anti-large isn't going to help, but they suck against armour. So it's going to be a real struggle for them to deal with the Storm Vermin. But my Poison Wing Globadiers are getting very bogged down. They're not really able to get some shots into the Black Knights, which is a pity. So over here, Skrulk still having taken quite a lot of damage, but the Blood Dragon Lord is kind of stuck in here now. There's the Mortis Engine effect from the Warlock Engineer doing a load of damage to all these guys, but he has lowered my stats a lot with the Helm of Discord, which is a great item that the Blood Dragon Lord has. It's very, very handy. And he's summoning some zombies in the back here. So I'm actually sending my Plague Monk Sensor Bearers to come in, because they can pretty much one-shot any zombie. Anytime they hit, they're going to kill one. And they're going to lower leadership very quickly. But of course the summoned ones don't have leadership, which is kind of annoying. They're unbreakable. They just diminish over time. But anyway, Plague Monk Sensor Bearers are here, try and bail out the Poison Wing Globadiers, and they're actually getting the odd shot off here onto the Blood Dragon Lord, which is very nice. So a load of infantry sat idle now. Need to actually send them in to do something. This flank, though, with the White Kings, they just bullied me. They just punched right through. Luckily, still got a load of Storm Vermin. My halberds are still doing great. And actually here, the White Kings, they're anti-infantry, but these guys are anti-large and armor-piercing. So this isn't great for the White Kings to be stuck fighting halberds. But I guess you just want to try and break these guys quickly. But it's not going to happen. They're going to stand there for a long time. They've got quite good leadership. So I got a load of units starting to come back, but they're being chased by Crypt Ghouls, which is a real pain. But they're starting to really struggle. So I will be able to get some units back soon. So that's good news for me. So these Storm Vermin have been freed up, so they're going to be able to join a fight soon. And the Plague Monks getting some good kills in here. These are the summoned ones, and they have 60 kills. I mean, that is great for a summoned unit to be able to get that much value. Absolutely love it. So here the Blood Dragon Lord is diving down to try and help deal with these guys. But look, Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, just perfect leadership there. Not even a scratch. They're having a whale of a time. So they're going to get some great damage in. The armor piercing and the huge leadership debuffs from the Plague Monks. It's tearing the Blood Dragon apart. So that is pretty scary. And a Lebu Bonicus finishing him off. And now the last of his cavalry comes in. See, this is what happens when you leave your guys too far away. They take so long to join the fight. They're easy to forget about because you're there with the camera here, microing, and they're over here somewhere, you know? So bring your guys in. There's no threat. You know, you can quickly look at the army, go, there's no artillery, and keep your cavalry really close to the rest of your army. That is a big recommendation from me. Stay within the minimum safe distance. As long as you're out of the way of the, what are they called? The Poison Wing Globadiers. There's no threat, so get them involved, you know, get them nearby, ready to attack. Because at the moment, they're fighting horrible, horrible odds. There's a load of armor in here that they're not great against. And, yeah, a load of halberds, and Skrulk is in here buffing them. There's the Warpstone armor from the Warlock Engineer. These guys just can't hold out, especially with their terrible leadership now that their Lord has died. So summoning more rats behind them to block their escape. Again, Black Knights aren't enjoying that. Does have some healthy ones coming in, but it's kind of too little too late at this point. My Poison Globadiers did get chased off, but they're going to come back in. Over here, Sensor Bearer is nearly dealt with, finally, but they've got some work in. I mean, I say that, 39 kills, not great, but a lot of that was cavalry in the back line, so not terrible. These ones, 173 kills. A lot of that was summoned zombies, yeah, but still, I think they were useful. I think they were useful for once. So there we go, Pyrrhic victory. So let's see the breakdown. So Skrulk ran him out like a bit of an idiot, but yeah, he took a lot of damage, but once he was in the thick of things, it's very difficult to single him out. He's surrounded in, you know, armoured units like the Storm Vermin. It's very difficult to deal with him. And then when he's summoning more rats everywhere, it's a real problem. So one of my Poison Globadiers did nothing. He had so much cavalry, he'd get into my back line very easily. But the other one did quite well, and these guys were both worthy distractions. While these guys were getting attacked, I was able to pull my Storm Vermin into those fights, and these Storm Vermin were able to slaughter a load of the cavalry. Because Black Knights, I mean, they're quite cheap, but they're also very, very flimsy. You've got to be really careful with them. I kind of feel like they should be a bit better than they are. But if you are able to, you know, charge in with a load of them, you can get some good damage on the charge, pull them out, cluster them together, get another, not regrowth, another invocation to heck on them, they can go back in. But I feel they need a lot of babysitting. It's kind of tough. They're quite good for sort of disposable units, but I think bats do the same, almost. They're not quite as good. The bats won't get as much killing done, but they're a lot cheaper, and it means you can bring a sturdier front line, things like Graveguard. Oh, we did actually have one unit of Graveguard, but yeah, couldn't hold out against, you know, all the Storm Vermin I had, and the Plague Monk Center Bearers and things. There's a lot of damage here. So, yeah, it was pretty, it's pretty decisive. But I do love the idea of the White Kings. I think the White Kings are a brilliant pick in this one. I think Scabscrath would have been super useful, because he could have just hit my Plague Monk Center Bearers with Scabscrath. Obviously, he didn't know I was going to bring those, but I was going to bring something with low armor that he could just, you know, hit really hard. Also, he didn't have anything with Terror. And you really want something with Terror. You know, anything will do. But yeah, having no Terror against Skaven is... You're kind of hamstring yourself a bit there. Terror's too useful. You know, anything gets to... I mean, for Skaven, it's basically if they're on half of their leadership, that's enough for Terror to take hold. It's kind of ridiculous how bad Skaven are at holding a line, usually. Obviously, I went for quite an elite army, which is rare. I never do this. So, it was kind of cool. But, yeah, so he could have changed his army a little bit, I think. I think that would have helped. Just a sturdier front line would have been huge. I think if you've gone with mainly Graveguard, he could have cut through most of my line pretty well. The anti-infantry, the Graveguard, is very, very useful. It can really help cut through most Skaven units. Some cavalry, yeah. But, yeah, I think he went a bit overboard with a lot of a lot of his ideas here, which is a pity. But he had some great units here. But he did allow himself to get caught out. He went all in, trying to get rid of the Poisonwind Globadiers with his cavalry, but the Poisonwind Globadiers were a good counter to his cavalry, so he wanted to get rid of them early, but that just allowed my other armor-piercing anti-large to get on top of his cavalry, so he took out something that didn't need to be taken out, because he lost those units anyway, that he was trying to protect by taking them out. I know, it's a very circular, weird argument, but hey, that's a thing, so be mindful of that. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.